So we left off with making adjustments in your audio signal and being able to listen to those in real time in your dome. So let's suppose that you've created a setting here that you really like, and you don't want to have to reopen the software each time and come back to change this whenever you want to run that show. Let's just call this Moonwitch for now. Let's say this is a setting we created for Moonwitch, and we don't want to have to reopen this software every time and come back to play with all these faders. There's not enough time between shows and it's too complicated. So what we can do is we can do what we call create a preset, or we can save these various settings. And you'll recall that down here in the lower left hand area we gave you 4 presets, which I described in an earlier piece of video, that have different settings in those as kind of your standard quick fixes. But what we're going to do now is show you how to save the setting that you just created here. So we're going to go up to the top of the screen to this little drop down menu, and this is a list of all the presets that are in your system, including the original 4 that we gave you that match these buttons, and also any new ones that we're going to create. So the very first thing that we want to do with our settings is we want to select an existing preset that we like as a sort of like a template, and create a new preset based on that template. So I'm going to go to normal and click on my normal preset, and you'll notice the faders jump to what we call the normal preset setting. And then I'm going to come up to my drop down menu, and what I have to do is I have to go over to the next tab over, says add parameter preset. And what it's going to do when I click this is create a copy of whatever preset name I have in this little drop-down window. So I create it, and I'm going to call this one Moonwitch. Just for the sake of creating a preset, I'm not saying really use this for our show Moonwitch or anything. I go OK. Now, what you see on this screen is is still the original normal setting preset. So what I have to do is I have to recall the preset that I have in this little window as the one I actually want to manipulate. So I say Moonwitch, I want to recall Moonwitch. I do that, and so now I'm actually making changes in the Moonwitch preset. Just because the name appears here doesn't mean that you have it here on the screen. That's a confusing issue. So now what I can do is I can come down into my levels, and I can say, oh, on Moonwitch, I really like the characters that are in this show, so I want to push the dialogue up just a little bit, and I want a little bit more of the sound effects that are in the rear of the theater. Subwoofer a little bit less maybe, and over in my assistive listening system, I want a little bit more of the music to be in there for this preset. And so now I've made changes in the preset, and I'm going to make one more, which is maybe that in my particular theater, my speakers are getting old and my dialogue channel, my center channel, sounds a little bit dull. So I'm going to come in here and just liven it up just a little bit, to brighten it up just a teeny bit. And so now I've created a Moonwitch preset. But warning, if I go to another preset at this moment, these settings are not saved. So you have to store them by going to this little icon right here that says Store Parameter Preset. And now when you click on that, I've actually saved the Moonwitch preset. So just for yucks, what we're going to do is come over here now, and we're going to go to Normal. And notice nothing changed because I haven't recalled yet. Now if I go to recall the parameter preset, you're going to see that the faders here and the EQ, the equalizers, went back to my normal settings. Okay? Now if I go to Moonwitch and I go recall preset, the fader settings are the ones I created for my show Moonwitch, and my EQ is different. And you can create as many copies of these presets and name them for all your shows independently.